Good morning. What the heck? Where did Gladiator Guru go? Good morning, everyone. Nothing like the countdown going and Gladiator Guru disappears. Good morning and happy Tuesday, the week of love. The irony is our topic is falling in and out of love, but we are nonetheless going to celebrate love. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Lori Monaco with Align Yourself Inc. I am an authenticity teacher specializing in transformation and mindfulness practice through coaching and workshops and speaking engagements. I'm also a chiropractic physician and a weight loss specialist, whatever. And I'm known as the Badass Buddha. And I'm coming to you from a very snowy Southern Connecticut where it's been snowing this morning since early this morning again for our third day in a week of snow.
I'm sorry, I sneezed. I had to go clean my nose. It was like
we're glad. We're glad that you didn't do it on camera. So that's
good. Good morning, mi gente. Buenos días. Aquí con la Margarita, your spiritual and creative healing life coach, your author, your artist, your crazy TT. I'm everything.
Crazy TT.
In the little box. I am your notary, so if you're in the Tampa area, please swing by. I do notaries right from home. I am the Gladiator Guru, and I am so happy to be here with you this cloudy Tuesday morning here in Tampa, Florida. Buenos dias.
How's the temperature, though?
It's been warming lately. I'll tell you right now. It is 68.
Okay, 68. That's warm. That's definitely not. I'll tell you what it is here. 21.
Yeah, I said I have that on my phone too. Because when I complain here, I go back and then I'm like, hell no, I should not be complaining with as cold as it is up north.
Oh my God, you know what's funny about that? I have on my phone, so I put all the things that interest me, right? So I have Toronto for some odd reason, and I'll tell you, Toronto, Canada is not far off from what Connecticut's been lately. I have Tuscany, I have Bali, Honolulu, Kingston, Jamaica, and Burlington, Vermont. And it's 16 in Burlington. So I'm going to focus on Kingston, Jamaica, and Bali. Bali, I can't wait to go there. So let's see who is on today. Good morning, Tiffany. And the point to fit all. Good morning. Good morning. And they're coming on YouTube. We're loving this. We have a few people that jump on through YouTube. Most everybody jumps on through Facebook, but we're so thrilled to have people on from YouTube. So we will definitely give you our good morning stuff. So, all right. Gladiator Guru, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was very productive.
Yeah, what'd you do? You finished painting.
Just refurbishing old furniture to make it look new in my space. I love doing that. I haven't bought a single new item. I've just repainted or reupholstered or rearranged. What was used to be in the back room is now in the library room. Just that. It's crazy how people think they need to buy new things for every room when you can just, switch it up.
I think there's two reasons that people don't refurbish like that. They don't, one of it is they don't think they can. Actually, it's probably more than two. They don't think they can, or they don't have the creative idea of it. Or they just don't have the time. Like they really just, maybe they want to, but they keep saying, I just really have the time. But I get that. I love restoring stuff as well. I mean, I did enough of that with houses. And I still find myself very much attracted to fixer-up houses, although I'm ready to just move in, have a move-in ready, have pay somebody else to fix it up because I'm at that point where I want to have my space.
I love when I go into a new house and it just smells new.
Mm-hmm.
My niece recently bought a brand new house. And I mean, everything, the counters, everything is so beautiful. And then you have my little casita that is very eclectic. It has a lot of character. It has a lot of bruises and chip parts here. Some I fixed, some I left because Some of them I'll look at and be like, oh, and then I'm like, oh well, you know what? It goes with the house, and it's a little. It's beautiful, and it's old, and it holds character, and it tells a story. When you're laying at night and there's no sound to nothing, you hear the house.
Yes, that's why I like old houses. That's why I like them.
Yeah, so I if I were, once I leave here, I don't know. I just want a backpack, and I just want to be a nomad. That's it.
Oh, no house. If you sell that house, that'll be that.
It'll just be a nomad, and then whenever I'm back, I'll stay with family, and they're just gonna have to deal with it. That's it. I survived for a month and a half with a backpack with everything I needed. It's doable. I mean, if you're okay with that, if you don't need all the falsifications to make you look like a pretty person, then you're fine with that. I'm fine with it.
I need it.
I raise my kids. Okay, my oldest grand is what, 18? My youngest is 3 months. Come on, this is my time.
Good morning, Janet. Sista's on. Good morning, Janet, and good morning, Michelle. Happy to have all of you on. And go ahead.
Good morning, Michelle. Buenos días, Siste. She's up. I'm happy you're up. But yeah. Janet's the same way. She likes old houses, and she likes to fix them up. I don't know. With an old house, it has so much character that it doesn't matter what furniture you put in it. It's going to be like, oh, they love me. They moved in. So that's good. So, okay. Welcome, everybody. What do you want to talk about? The choice we made in the mantra and affirmations? Because I think it's awesome.
Unless you want to mention coffee first, since I know you like to do that. So
today's Tuesday, of course.
I'm drinking New England coffee. It's a vanilla flavor.
Well, let me tell you what I'm drinking.
No, I wanted to go first because you always go first with that.
Go ahead. Vanilla.
I did. I said it already.
Oh, now that's what I said. Now let me tell you what I'm drinking. Here, are you tired or something?
I am a little tired.
Breathe. My Glamour mug that my granddaughter gave. Oh, where is it? I can't focus with that. So guess what I'm drinking? And it's not so bad. But I ran out of this special blend. So I ran out to Walgreens to get some coffee, right? Because they normally sell Pilon and Bustelo. They didn't have it. And I tell the lady, where's this been? Oh, we don't sell it no more. There's not a high value. I said, come here and buy coffee. Isn't that enough? So anyway, they had this sale on coffee. A lot of decaf. And I'm like, oh, Maron, what am I going to do? Because I couldn't come back home. And I couldn't go any further because Mom was home. So they had this coffee, a big tub for $10.99. And it was on sale with your Walgreens card for $4.99. And I'm looking, I'm like, fuck it, I need some coffee. So I grabbed my Maxwell House blend, little big blue tub of it. I add my clove powder to it, my pinch of salt, and it brews very well. See, I shouldn't have judged thinking that all my espresso blends were better than anything. And it's not even dark roast, it's medium roast.
You're a cheat, is what you are. You're cheating on your dark roast.
I am cheating on me, but
you're trying new things. That's wonderful.
I know. I'm telling you, that's why. So, what is coffee? Para pura el café. Is the language of promise. You know, that first sip. Was this your first cup today? Everybody, follow along. Close your eyes. El café.
Unless you're driving.
Is the language of promise, a promise of a new day with huge possibilities to prosper in all that we will do. El café. Hold on, Laura. El café is the silence of prayer, meditation, of faith, where in every sip, take a sip.
Oh, take a sip.
The whisper of hope is heard.
I'm sorry.
El café, right, is my lover. is my friend and my comfort. The light bulb of ideas brightening my road for whatever faces me in today. El café is my passion dressed in satin and feeling oh so good. Coffee is life. That is it.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Did you write that?
Yes,
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
I write all my symphonies of coffee.
Oh, that's good. You know, you need to get onto like these coffee Facebook group pages and start putting that stuff out there. You know, plus it'll generate, you know, stuff to us. Actually, this is what I've been doing. There's this one very cute group called Coffee Laughs and Giggles.
I love it.
And that's why I've been posting on Viva with the funny stuff, and then I'll share it over to the group page with the idea that they will come on and start viewing. Because a lot of these group pages don't allow you to really advertise your stuff. And I get that, because otherwise that's be inundated with it, you know, or they let you do it like one day. So I've been really careful. I haven't really wanted to advertise it, but I've wanted to generate more people to come to the page. Anyway, so Bridget Williams is on, which is great. Good morning, Bridget. And she's going to be on. You know what? I just realized I spelled Bridget's name wrong in all the advertisements. Bridget, I'm sorry. It's not two E's and an E at the end. So I so apologize for that. Liza's on. Good morning, Liza. Francia's on. Ruthie's on. Good morning, Ruthie. Carmen Nieves is in the house. And she says, good morning, loves. I heard you are approaching a milestone show. Not till April. Our milestone show, which is our 100th episode, is in April. And we are
it's
really...
I'm so excited. I was bragging to her about it.
Oh, that's why. Okay. But we're trying to put together like something really spectacular. So far, it's not happening, but so far, we're trying to put something really spectacular, but we're going to put it out there. So we want everybody to put it out there to the universe that we are putting something very special. And what day is that? It's like April 13th or something along those lines, I think, right? It's around there, April 11th, something like that.
Well, this is Necessities 101 by Bridget Williams.
All right.
This is part of her line. So, and I love it.
Oh, look what Michelle wrote. Michelle wrote, write and illustrate a little book of coffee.
Yes, I am actually, Michelle, I am collecting since the first show, everything I have written related to the intimacy of me and my coffee. So I have all tabs on that. But yeah, maybe that's why I haven't shared it in any other place. So
it could be.
Yeah,
it's you want them to buy the book.
A coffee table book that you put at the coffee table, and then people who come in and pick it up, and they're gonna laugh at the funnies of the badass Buddha and the gladiator guru, because you know what? That's what coffee does. It brings out the best in you if you just sit still and allow it to. After your prayers or during your prayers and meditation, you know, coffee is it's like that tranquilizante. How do you say that in English? It's that.
Oh, I'll tell you. Hold on.
That antidepressant, that anti bullshit of what lays ahead of you in your day. That's what coffee is. If you know, not just regular coffee. You have to have that love affair with coffee in order for it to do just that. And it's like you drink your coffee, and it's like all of a sudden your super fucking hero outfit comes on, and the cape is flowing, and nobody can see it but you, like Wonder Woman's plane, but you know it's there, and nothing's gonna stop you throughout the day. That's how we need to put the armor of God, of the universe, of whatever you're comfortable with saying, before we step out our house every day after our coffee, and be fabulous with it, and be brilliant in everything you say, and walk with such a firm belief that you are enough, that nothing can happen. Okay, Laura, what is the affirmation in that? Because you're typing away. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning to everybody on there. I like to put the comments in. So yes, good morning. So, okay, you had mentioned about talking about what we set the intention for. pretty much, and the mantras for the rest of the month in celebration of Black History Month. So what we're going to do is the intentions and the mantras for the rest of February are going to always either be a quote or based on a quote from anyone, African American, and in poets, leaders, whatever, women, powerful women. So I have the intention. So let me set that first. So mine is based on, I can't get enough of her. One of my favorite, Maya Angelou. And so this is the quote it's based on. I am grateful to have been loved and to be loved now and to be able to love. And the intention that we will set for today is I open myself to give and receive love. Nice and sweet. I open myself to give and receive love.
Oh, beautiful. My quote in celebration of African American Month is, you are not judged by the height you have risen, but from the depth you have climbed. Frederick Douglass. That's so deep, and I love anything that has to do in relation to the explanation of trees, because the tree of life is so much deeper than what people think it to be, and that this is so true. So yes, and my mantra is what I spoke of earlier: stand firm in your beliefs and take a leap of faith in whatever it is your passion is geared towards. So stand firm in your belief that you are enough and you can do it. Stand
That's right.
firm in your belief that you are enough and you can do it. And just drown out all the noise. And that's it.
And this is perfect for today's conversation. So we wanted to take a different swing. And actually, let me shout out. So good morning, Eileen Denny, Dr. Denny. Good morning, Carol Cruz. Lovely to have you on, Carol. That's awesome. So we're going to take a different approach to, we've talked about love before, and now we're going into the love holiday, the holiday that people either love or hate, basically. Some people just chuck it off and say, oh, it's just a Hallmark holiday, blah, blah, blah. My thought is this. I think that if we force people to at least celebrate love one day, I'm in. I don't think it's a horrible thing. I think it's a nice reminder. I think the problem that people have is the commercialization of it. And I do as well. That's sometimes the only time people say something, they feel obligated, or they spend like $150 on a dozen roses when the day before, the day after, the roses cost like $60, So that part of it, I don't really care for either. But I think that if we look at the holiday as, okay, it's telling us to celebrate love, but what about celebrating it all year? What can we do to celebrate it all year? And first and foremost, again, we've talked about this. Who's number one on your list for loving? Should I wait for the answer? Should I say, what's number one on your list? And that would be you. So we decided to take the approach of, let's talk about who loves you. That's the question, part 1 and part 2 for today and Thursday. And we're going to talk about falling in and out of love today. And we're going to talk about moving on Thursday, and with really the emphasis on self-love. So so people get very depressed on Valentine's Day when they're by themselves. They're always like, oh, there's groups that celebrate it, which I love. Like there's many groups. Like if you go on to Eventbrite, there's so many that are celebrating for singles to come on and just like hang out, have a drink or whatever. And when everything was open, they used to have single parties too, where people would get together, not to hook up, but just to celebrate because they were single. I think that we need to look at it that way and say, you know what, I'm celebrating Love Day. And if I'm by myself, then I'm going to shower myself with love. So what would you give yourself as a gift? That if you would want somebody to give you, like listen, if somebody gave me chocolates, I'm going to eat them. I'm not even going to deny that. But I mean, I do love flowers. I like warm, fuzzy socks, So maybe I'll buy myself those things, maybe not the flowers because they're so expensive, but you know what I'm saying? So we can celebrate that day for ourselves without the expectation that somebody else needs to buy these things for us, or make ourselves a nice dinner. That's if you're by yourself.
Shouldn't,
Okay.
even if we're see the expectation of a holiday that, you know, started off as a pagan holiday, then it became, it's all for money. You know, love, yes, makes the world go round, right? We talked about this yesterday. Um, and but what does it do? It takes away so much. And let me go back. Valentine's Day. I never liked Valentine's Day. Whoever I was with at the time, I would tell them, I don't really care for Valentine's Day. I don't want to go and wait an hour in something in line in a restaurant to
Yeah,
just
I
get in.
agree.
Don't bring me roses. I don't like flowers. I love flowers. I don't like flowers. What does that mean? Buddha says the difference between like and love. It goes up to a flower. You go up to a flower. Did you like the flower or do you love the flower? If you like the flower, then you will cut it and bring it to its death because you like it so much you had to take it from its natural place. And then in a day or so, it's going to wilt. If you love the flower, you would walk to that bush and admire it for as long as the season allows it to last. So that's the difference between that. I don't care to go, never. And my partners know that I never cared for it. I don't care if I get chocolates or gifts or anything. That's bullshit. You know what? My birthday is the most special thing for me, and I like to celebrate it all month. But I
Me
just
too.
think that if you're gonna take me out to dinner, let's have a date night once a week. And
Yes.
let's meet up at Starbucks after work or after a workout. You know, I'll pull in after you, you pull in after me, you pretend you don't know me, you hit on me, you say some sexy things to me, then we sit down and we have coffee and we'll chit chat. You know, that's what I love. And that's what Valentine's Day should be all year round. But we get
Yes.
stuck with this Hollywood idea of what love is supposed to be, and it's really superficial. We get caught up in the bullshit of it, and then we put those expectations on our partners. Then we look in the mirror and feel like we're not pretty enough. So it's all crazy. And I just feel that if you become your authentic self, then you're gonna love from your core, and you're gonna look at that person as more than enough. And let me tell you, Eric was not my type of person at all. And he ended up being such a great love of my soul, taught me so much. He calmed my spirit. I've learned so much from that genuine love that he gave. But had I gone through the superficial, I would have been like, bye. We got time for you. So what is love? Why do people fall out of love, Laura? Varas puras. Can you give us some examples?
Yeah. Do you want me to read what I wrote and then we could talk about it, like the conversation? Okay. So there was a reason why we came up with this conversation specifically, because actually it's every time. It's very organic when we come up with these ideas. We're talking about life, we're talking about our own experiences. And we came up with this one like a couple of months back, and it just happened to come up on this week that we decided to put it. So love makes the world go round. When we fall in love, we are all in. No one and nothing else matters. Do we know what love is? Do we really fall in love, or do we fall in love with love? Such as when somebody starts dating another person and they do what's called love bombing, where you think this is the most incredible person in the whole world because they just shower you with love. Inundated with what the perfect love is. Are we inundated with that? The idea of what perfect love is. The most complex and poorly understood emotion is love. How do we hate the same individual that we said we couldn't live without? And sometimes it's not even when the relationship is over. We could feel that way about the individual right in the midst of our relationship, where we love them today and then tomorrow they do something to piss us off and then we hate them.
Because that's conditional love.
What about when one day they love you and the next day they want to throw daggers at you? It has to do with expectations. And you're right, it's conditional love. Worst part of falling out of love are the excuses we use to stay in: house, money, cars, kids. So we also wanted to try to talk about the things that we lose by staying and the things that we gain by leaving, which could go into Thursday's conversation if we don't have time. So your question was falling out of love, right? So it's exactly what you just said. If we go into it conditionally, I think that's the big key player here. In fact, I always write sticky notes. I'm like a sticky note person. I have sticky notes all over the place when I come up with an idea. And I wrote this like about 3 weeks ago, love is conditional. Who believes they were raised this way? Most people believe, though, I want unconditional love. I'm that's what I'm striving for, and that's what I've received, or I'm in that. But here's the rub on that. If you are going in
raised this way. Sorry.
if you are going in not whole, if you yourself are going in not whole, then you are going, whether you know it or not, conditionally into the relationship.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
But what if you're not completely whole and this person was put in your divine path to help you heal? Because not everybody can heal on their own. And so I'm asking you a question. So let's say you're not completely whole, but you're drawn. There's some spiritual pull to this person that you're not even aware that it's a spiritual pull, but you find yourself there, right? So what if when we go in with condition, is there a possibility that by the actions of the other person, by the not temporary actions, what am I going to say, just by their demeanor and their actions, which are soft and calming to us, can we ebb and flow into becoming whole, learning from that person that we have an attraction to? And does that condition dissipate after time?
You talking about Eric?
No, not at all.
Because it sounds like you're describing him. So it's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm a big believer. I mean, I really am. And this is just me. I'm a big believer that you have to at least be semi-whole or close to it for that to happen. Because if you are a complete hot mess, if you are needy and in need of that individual to fill you up, then it's going to be very conditional and it isn't going to be true love. You have to be open to that possibility. You have to already know going in, consciously or subconsciously, that you need to work on yourself. And if they're there to guide you, then they're placed there for you. And you know that they're there to guide you. Again, whether you're conscious or or you don't know it, it's different. And I'm saying that from experience because I know I was for years not that person. I was the person who wanted to, I thought I wasn't broken and I but I knew I was, but I had the expectation that the relationship was going to put something together for me that I needed. Mm-hmm. The thing is that I always was attracted to broken people as well.
I think that's human nature. I think every woman, everybody who's on watching us live, put yes or no if you were that woman. Repeat what you just said, Laura.
I don't even know if I can. So I was broken.
You didn't.
And I was always attracting broken people. But that I knew, that I was conscious of.
Because it's like we're Captain Save-A-Hoes. It's like we have this need to nurture. Even if we have kids or our kids have grown, we have this certain need that it's like we're like magnets for that. And then it chips away at us, right? Is that what you were going to go on to say? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And so look, people are already saying, so Liza's saying yes. Marina is saying you are right. Badass Buddha. Carmen's saying yes. Gwen is saying yes. Tiffany's saying yes. And it's constant. Janet's saying yes. And so that just goes to show you, Michelle saying yes, that we a lot of times don't realize, we may feel it for ourselves, but we tend to ignore it and we go for the other party so that we've talked about this before. It's a distraction. It's to say, I don't want to look at me, so I'm going to fix that person, which will fix me. So you end up filling that in. And again, not consciously, or, you just go in and say, and it's conditional. Mm-hmm. So right there, you're already starting off with a bad foundation. And the only way that any type of relationship that starts off as conditional, the only time it can work and you could fix the foundation, I feel, is that once you're in it and you realize, oh gosh, I need help and I'm looking for them, but you both kind of have to realize it. You both have to come to the realization that I need work, like the two people. I need work. And I'm aware of that. And I'm telling you, I'm aware of that. And I'm going to work on me. I'm going to work on me, but let's work on each other together too. Then you could rebuild the foundation. But the vast majority, I think, is not. And I think that's why people love bomb in the beginning. Oh my God, it's so wonderful. Oh my God, this is the greatest relationship I've ever had. It's so fantastic. And then in a month, you start to see the signs, but you ignore them because you're already invested in, or because you're not whole. So you're like, okay, no, you know what? I could fix this. This is going to be the best. I'm going to make it this way. And then you keep going. And then next thing you know, it's like 4 years. It's like 6 years.
And at some point, you have to take accountability for yourself and stop blaming.
Of course.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, we broke up, we're not in love. But it's because they stopped. They stopped working on themselves. And because I've seen that too. But you're absolutely right. Why do people fall out of love? What? Number one, because we're human. Because we're human and we are designed to fall out of love. We believe in the Hollywood ideal of happily ever after. And when it doesn't happen at whatever time limit we set, then we're trying to run. But the thing is, if you feel that deep connection, we're talking about falling in and out of love, right? You can fall back in love with your partner. Sometimes you need to have a fallout in order to rebuild. Not every relationship, but some. And there's some basic love laws that you can use to reignite the feelings of love and attraction for your partner. But when we fall out of love, let me tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up one morning and said, oh, I don't love them no more. You know, it's a gradual decline that we ignore until it reaches this pivotal boiling point, and then we're accusing them of not being attentive to us when it was us in the beginning. But a lot of people don't walk their truth. So when you do wake up one morning after several weeks or months that you've been feeling, you look at them differently. You don't really want to touch them as much. There's not that much conversation. It's a gradual decline. So when you do wake up that morning and you finally got the balls to tell yourself, I can't do this anymore, then be honest and don't start picking fights with your partner, because that's the main thing. Or you're always coming home late, you're hanging out with your friends, you know, you're not doing this. Just be honest. And that's the biggest, I think, what then causes chaos if you have kids and whatever. And it's not a dramatic transition. It's not like, oh my God, you said I'm fat, I'm leaving you, it's over. You know what I mean?
You can make it that way.
So, you know, own up what you're feeling, because it's okay. You wake up one day, you got butterflies in your stomach, and you're like, ooh, everything feels good. You want to hold doors for everybody and, you know, pay the 3 cars behind you coffee from the drive-thru. It's like you're in love, right? It's a euphoric sensation, and it can be so genuine. Well, the same way you woke up like that and you admitted to yourself that you're in love, there's going to come a day you're going to wake up and you're going to have to admit to yourself that you no longer want to be where you're at with the person you're with. And that, again, is totally okay. Just be honest. The way you want to share and shout from mountaintops that you're in love, you don't have to be so loud about it, but you can say, you know what? This is not for me anymore. I no longer belong here. That's taking your power back. That's not hurting anyone else by admitting that you need to move on.
Well, and that's where it gets tricky, because the reason we avoid, because we do feel that it's going to hurt somebody else. And, you know,
so where are you in that? Yeah.
So Gladiator Guru, you are right, because doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't. And if you're feeling it, the other person is feeling it as well. And they're also not willing to admit stuff to themselves, but then they act like they do. So if you did that, if you woke up in the morning and you said, you know what, this isn't working, I don't love you anymore, we need to, they act like it's like out from left field, you know, and you have to be prepared for that. That is because, again, people don't want to face things, which is exactly the reason why people just start going out and they start picking fights. It's easier. It takes much greater courage to end something with a calmness. than it does when you fight about it. So like, right, it's easy to say, oh, we got to this really big fight and I'm done. Oh, it justifies it in the person's head. Oh, they've been treating me, and all of a sudden it comes up. They've been treating me like crap for years. I'm done with this. We had it out and I'm done. And that's it. As opposed to waking up one morning, looking at the person and going, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I care about you, but I've got to pick me. It is so uncommon that it's uncomfortable for us to do that, rather than saying, especially when you look back and you really, hindsight is 2020. I always laugh at that and say that's my superpower. Hindsight is 2020 is my superpower, which is not a great superpower to have. I'd rather be like badass Wonder Woman, have her superpowers, not looking back at something and going, oh, I should have done something different. So you look back, and when you are in that moment of getting up and saying, okay, you know what, I've been feeling it for months and this is it, like it's done. There are those people that really did love the person and they just didn't grow together. That's part of it. One was going at a different rate. One went into a different direction. But I would say, would you agree with this, Gladiator Guru, that most people didn't start off properly? Is really, like I said, that base. And Liza Tuck is agreeing. She's talking about you need a strong base. It really wasn't a great relationship. But we lied to ourselves for years, both parties. And then all of a sudden we get to that point and we're like, I don't love this person anymore. And it's like, then you look back and you go, now that I think about it, this wasn't right. And this wasn't right. And this wasn't right. And why did I stay for so long? And why did I put up with this for so long? Because again, we're always trying to tell ourselves, it's this expectation, things will get better.
Yeah.
It's me, it's them. I can change. They could change. I could change them.
And but the best part when you make that decision to move on without guilt, without bad feelings, is to admit that you kept yourself there for that long.
Yes.
That other person didn't have the power. You chose to stay in that after the years you knew you should have left. Now I read the book. And I've watched the movie several times, both the books. I love the book better. But Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
Elizabeth Gilbert's true story. Julia Roberts killed it on the film. Loved her.
Did.
She starts off the film, like right at the beginning, talking about one of her friends, a counselor, something like that. I don't want to say exactly, but a counselor, I think therapist, was asked if she can assist with the Cambodians that were in the refugee camp that came stateside. So the friend was telling her that everyone she spoke with all the horrific mess they came from, and how to come to the United States in refugee camps, was saying that all they wanted to talk about was love. How they met someone in the refugee camp in Cambodia, then they went separate ways. They met up in the refugee camp in the States, and he was now married to her cousin, but he says he's still in love with her. And how does that happen? And that story always amazes me, because if you watch
give us a hint.
Love Actually. When is that in the beginning, when it's the airport scene and he's speaking about Hugh Grant is speaking. I love Hugh Grant.
Isn't that Julia Roberts too?
No.
Oh, okay. No, she was in the other one with Hugh Grant. Okay, go ahead.
She was in the with the book one.
Yeah.
So, and he talks about when people are arriving and people are waiting for them and people are leaving, and the hugs and the kisses and that genuine love. Like, if you want to ever witness in your lifetime what true love really is, go sit and people watch at an airport. But in her movie, Julia Roberts goes on, when she's married and she's this book writer and she has her publisher, and she's at this party and her husband's just talking, and he has this trip that he has to go to Aruba. They just bought a house. She just redid the whole house. And she's laying in bed and he's on talking. And she looks at him and she says, I don't want to go to Aruba with you. And he's like, oh, and then she says, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And she goes in the bathroom, cries, falls asleep on the floor, had a epiphany with God. But anyway, she leaves. After she did all this stuff, the house and everything, she loses all her money in the divorce. The house goes to him. What I'm saying is you will lose the old when you make decisions for your spirit. And as you
Yes.
go forward, you're building this new structure for yourself. You know, you're building this new armor for your heart, and your mind is so clear because you lost it. You lost all the material things you held on to. That also bombards us. You know, we are such emotional hoarders that when somebody says that to us, we get offended. Why? Because it's true, bitch. And the truth hurts. And we have to sometimes just lose everything we have and stand firm in who we are, but lose everything around us. And that's when we make our fresh start. So when you have to admit, I'm no longer in love with you, we need to go our separate ways. Who gives a shit who stays with the ice trays? Just go. And as hard as it is, because it's hard, I've started fresh 3 times in my life. And then my fourth one, my husband decides to die on me, and I started fresh again. So I'm not afraid to start new. What I'm afraid is wasting time. I'm at the age where I don't want to waste time. I fell in love with my seasonal love, and we lasted through the seasons, and he was awesome. He was delicious, and he was everything. And then it's like when the ocean waves come in fiercely, and then you feel it, and you feel that rush when the wave splashes against you, and then when it leaves just as fiercely, but it's pulling from the sand so you can't see it, and it pulls out.
And you
That
fall.
was my season. That was my season.
If you're not ready for it, you'll fall on your ass.
And that
And
was my season.
that was
of love.
a very good visualization, because that's
And
that's
it
exactly
is.
what happens. Oh my God, that's perfect. The wave comes in. It's like the love comes
It's a
in.
beautiful.
And then if you're not careful and you don't get your feet just right, you're going to get knocked on your ass. Oh my God, I love that.
No, but even still, even though you are careful and see, let me tell you, with my seasonal love, he's my muse. He inspired me to this day. He inspires me. I listen to songs. He pops in my head, that asshole. But you know what? I love it. Destiny brought him into my life for that seasonal part of my life.
That's funny.
So when I tell you that there's no regrets, and if you tell me you still have love for him, absolutely, absolutely. I will, if you go to my blogs, the majority of them were inspired by him. So what happens? You feel that. I don't blame him though. It was my emotions that dared to dance so exotically and filled with passion. I can't blame him. I love who I love. So it doesn't matter if it's a fleeting love affair or it's a relationship. So I embrace that part of me. And in parts, I thank him for showing me that I could have loved again after my husband passed away.
Well, and I think that the key is the awareness of it is when you go into a relationship and you're fully 100% present and aware. We think we are, because you're very present in a new relationship. Everybody always is, but you're present, but you also have to be awake. Like, you're present in the emotion that's flooding into you and the chemicals that are being released in your brain and in all your hormones. And that is what we have learned is love. That is what we have learned is love. And so, I mean, how many times have any of us started dating somebody and we, like, after 2 weeks of just like talking on the phone and just blah, 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 we wanted to we say to our friends, oh my God, I feel like I'm in love with him already. Or I want to say that I love him. And they're like, what are you, crazy? Or the opposite effect where the guy is like telling you he loves you in 2 weeks and this is unbelievable and this is crazy. And I bought into that. I thought, oh my God, this is fabulous. Like, this guy's loving me already. And then I got older and had my heart broken. And I said to myself, I wonder how many times those individuals said that to other women in 2 weeks into the relationship. I found that the more I got to know myself, the more I fell in love with myself, that it to say I love you, I have two ways of saying I love you. I mean, I could look at all of you and say I love all of you because I care about all of you. And it's not because you come on the show, it's because you're all powerful beings. And I love Gladiator Guru. She's my bestie. So it's there's levels for me. There's the intimate love piece. It takes a lot for me to say that because I have to feel it. Like I have to know that there's the friend love and then there's the intimate love. And it took me years to figure that piece out. And that's specific for me. I'm not saying that you should do that or that's how it should be, but it's more of, what does it mean to me? What does saying it to somebody intimately, what does it mean to me? And how do I define it for myself? What is my thought, my reasonable expectation for myself, for the other person, and then for that person towards me? So there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and I think that's the big thing. I think we always say don't overthink it. They're like, they used to hear that, oh, don't overthink love. But I think there just has to be a balance. Don't overthink, but don't throw yourself there. You can't go just willing. I mean, listen, I've done it.
It's not throwing. I love love. I'm a hopeless
I do
romantic.
too.
I love love where I don't put condition on it. I go out there. I will fall in love in a heartbeat, and I will love you. And unless you like cut my pinky toe off or something, I'm gonna always love you. And like my son's father is the love of my life, and we've been separated longer than we were together. And I inquire about his health all the time. My son gives me updates all the time, but he won't talk to me because I left him 21 years ago because I said I can't do this anymore. It's not healthy for my soul. And this is when I was 32. So what happens? I don't care. I've loved people that have gone and never knew that I loved them. But if they call, like, listen, when you fall in love, there's no guarantee that it'll be reciprocated, that it's going to soothe you, that it won't wound you. There's nothing of that. What it is a feeling that you feel, and you it's like that first cup of coffee. So listen, I'm gonna share this thing about love. It says, love, sometimes you fall in love. Sometimes it is a love that did not have an appointment, a walk-in, if you will. Sometimes you will be the one to have unleashed the emotions that dance so fiercely. And sometimes he won't love you back. But it doesn't mean that your love was stupid or that you shouldn't have loved. And I love that you feel the way you do, Dor. And because there's many ways to look at it. And I love that we share the different parts of this. But I will fall in love with you. And if we talk for 8 hours that day, and you made my spirit dance, and that gypsy is clapping away, and then the next day we call and, hey, what's up, and blah blah. I hate when people call me beautiful. I hate when people give me compliments. I don't like it. And if you talk to any of the men in my life, they'll tell you the same thing. Yeah, I didn't even know what to say to her. I don't like those superficial things. You know what? Let's go out. Let's meet here. Let's dress up real freaky and run around the house. That's what I want from you. I don't want words, and I don't want flowers. I don't want expensive gifts. I don't like diamonds. I'm a cheap trick. I like conversation.
Me too.
Great sex. And let's just go out. Let's just go out and travel and go to downtown and walk the streets and have a cigar, that type of stuff. I don't ask for much. What I ask is loyalty and faithfulness, either or, because you can't always have both, and we're humans. But give me one. So yeah, that's it. But
I do agree with that. Like, let me restate that, or let me say it in a different way.
I didn't say you were wrong.
There's I know you're not. No, I'm saying that I want to say it in a different way, that I can fall in love with people because of their spirit, who they are. I see that better now because of the growth that I've had. So I have no problem telling people, I love you. You are awesome. You're amazing. I love being around you. I think I've learned over the years, though, that when it comes to a significant other, that it's important for me to, when I make a statement like that, I can very quickly tell when somebody is more needy, and that it would be a conditional type of relationship by their response to that. They either get real freaked out by the fact that I said, oh my God, I love you. And I don't apologize for that. My God, I've said that on networking. I've done it at networking events where I've met people and I'm just listening to them talk. And I said, oh my God, I love you. And I've had people be like, okay, I'll talk to you later. I'm like, listen, I'm not apologizing for that. If I think that you have a beautiful spirit, I'm going to point that out, and it's going to be shared with those exact words, because that piece I'm not afraid of. And I'm not afraid of love. It's just that I could see when somebody takes it differently the other way. Oh, oh, you want to like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like, listen, I'm saying like, I love your spirit. Do I want to get to know you beyond that? That's another conversation. But I love loving, and I'm right with you on that. So I just want to make that clear. I do love, considering how I've had my heart broken over the years. That doesn't bother me anymore. I didn't think I would love, but I do. And I'm not, and I even love romance. That I love that stuff. It's just, it's not that it's conditional with me. It's just that I know what I want, and I don't need it. I think that's the piece, is that when you go in needing, like you saying, I don't need the flowers. I don't need this. I just want the conversation, and that's it. And if you are not able to provide that, if all you come up with is the flowers and the candy, then you're not who I need, because or you're not who I want, because that's like a facade. It's like covering up something. And one thing I want to mention is, because we had talked about, how is it possible to say one day I love you to somebody, to your mate, and then the very next day you do something that pisses them off so much that they spew out these like horrendous words of hatred. These very abusive type of relationships, emotionally, mentally. And I've been through those. And I've come to the realization that I think that when somebody is that disrespectful to you, that they don't know what love really is. Like, they've not learned it correctly. Because if you hate somebody, one day you love them and one day you hate them, and the next day you say, oh, I didn't, or later that day, I didn't mean when I said I love you, blah, blah, blah. You don't know, you don't understand what love is. Because I don't care how much you get pissed off at somebody. You could yell at somebody, but you're very careful with your words, because there's a respect. Don't you think so, that with love, unconditional love, there's a respect naturally?
Well, first of all, Marina says that, but your heart has to be open for the experiment.
Of
That's
course,
true.
yes.
Jonathan, hello.
Good morning, Jonathan.
I believe that when I tell someone, and I'm going to answer your question, I love you, and they look at me funny, I'm like, that's sex love. Like, let's walk in the rain love and get to know each other. Unless you want to come over here and let me smell you. Because I love to smell. But,
oh my God, you're like a dog.
But yes, but
yeah, you're good.
But I think that when you're in a relationship and you're in this, before you get in deep into love, is huge. And like I said, it's too huge for us mere humans to comprehend. That's why we fuck it up all the time, But I think that when you have your boundaries up, you have your boundaries up, that person can only spew hatred words to you that first time, and the second word is going to be cut off. And I think if we set that boundary, right? If we set that boundary from jump, like, I like to ask, what's your favorite color? Because it tells me about them. If you're gonna go out, do you love being out in the sun, or do you like, enjoying the moon? That tells me I'm spiritual in that way. But then we also get to the part where, what are your tolerances? Because mine says you can't talk to me sideways. And you got to be straight up. Listen, Margie, you did this and this, and this is how I felt. Then I'm going to say, oh, did I say that? That's not what I meant. Let me rectify it. Or I'm sorry you felt that way, but that's exactly what I was feeling at the moment. And you can't take away what I'm feeling. Let's talk about it. And you know what? Through years, it has gotten like that. Even people who know me, they know they have to come up and tell me if I offended them, because I'm not psychic in that sense. And yeah, I can be a little rough around the edges talking stuff. But I think when we as women let men know, I love you, I'll move mountains for you, but you better not disrespect me. You don't talk to me any old kind of way.
That's correct. Yep, absolutely.
And you
Boundaries are
need
big.
to do that from the jump, because that I don't matter how much in love with you I am, I will bust your lip if you talk to me sideways.
But that's the point. The point is that if we start the relationship with that's a bad base, because you're right. And so the boundaries is a big thing. Is if you're, and that's why also being a wholehearted individual is big, because if you are close to whole, then you would be able to set that boundary. I've never in the past have been able to set that boundary, and it bit me really bad in my ass, but now it's different with my growth, so it's different that's why the relationships that I form now, especially with friends, I don't, how they always say there's that expression, oh, you wear your heart on your sleeve. Listen, I wear my heart, it's like I'm like in a heart suit, but here's the difference is I know it, but I have the boundaries set into place where I am not afraid to put the heart out there. Like I'm literally wearing a big heart suit, walking around, hey, in a heart suit. And when people come over, the people that normally hurt, hearts, there's a barrier that they can't seem to penetrate. Like they'll feel it. It's like an energy, because I am clear on my boundaries now. So I love that you brought up boundaries. So I have no, like if somebody tries to make it different, right away, the radar, the radar goes up, and I'm like, no, this is who I'm not going to change who I am ever again. Never, ever doing that again. And so I'm not afraid to love. I'm not afraid to be that individual and be open to it, which is great. But you're right. The boundaries are the big thing. And I'm glad that came up at least towards the end of the conversation.
Because love is beautiful and we ruin it. Love is so beautiful and it's simple, and love doesn't hurt. Our expectations and our conditions placed on love is what hurts. And then we're always trying to find an out and blame something or someone. And you know what? You got to really take a deep look at yourself, because in order to move people, like we were talking yesterday, we must be disruptive. So if we're going to move someone into the same lane as we are, because that love is strong, and you know what, we might have been going in different directions, so one of us has to make a U-turn. Are you willing to meet that person halfway? Are you willing to always be fully mentally and spiritually present in that relationship, so that when things do go sideways, you can say, hey, did you notice that this is what's happening? Like we were supposed to go out to dinner Friday, but you stayed out a little late. You worked later, because if you're with me, you ain't partying with your friends on the weekend. It's not control. It's just a respect. We're grown-ups. We're in a relationship. That's single life shit, So I think that when there's open communication and you start seeing the lack of them coming home on time, eating dinner with you, they're so tired, they'll eat dinner on the couch. You need to make that U-turn. Hold up, what's going on? Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? And if not, then guess what happens? It's going to be like this bacteria that's going to grow within you until you fall out of love. And sometimes there was no reason to fall out of it. Maybe you got a little pushed and displaced, but you got to figure that out. And the only way is, like the badass Buddha said, is centering. It's discovering what it is you want. Where are you in life? Is this person the person you want to be with? Because there is no mistakes in this universe. Everyone we meet, we're either living or learning. So, try to figure that out for yourself, because there's no manual, and you can't keep blaming those around you for failed attempts in friendship or love affairs. Because if that's happening more than 2 times, then honey, you got to look in the mirror. That's it. Because an asshole's an asshole. I can be an asshole. So we're all assholes. But if you keep finding the ones that's going to hurt you, then you're the biggest asshole of the group. So let's try to figure out what it is that we want, how we're going to handle this. And don't be afraid of love. Love somebody, from on the other side of the world, and WhatsApp, and send each other texts every now and again, and love. It's okay. Love is free. It doesn't take anything from you. And if you can love someone without talking to them, or without seeing them, or without being intimate with them, then that's love. Then you reach the epitome of what the the love was meant to be, where you're just loving and that's it, with no expectations to receive anything back. I'm not there yet, but I'm just saying.
I want to just shout out to some of the comments too. So Liza Tuck says, I like assholes sometimes. LOL, it can be spicy at times. That's that Latina in her. Aditya says, I'm just learning boundaries. I never had set boundaries. Now everyone is freaking out. I love it. Fantastic. Tiffany says, comes back to communication. Liza said, we need to take responsibility for our being and who you are as a person. And then she said toe fungus. And then Tiffany Bryan. So this is I want to leave with this. Let's see if we can answer this quickly. It's not really a quick answer, but then we'll move and then we'll end the broadcast. So Tiffany Bryan says, love isn't supposed to hurt.
No, I just said that. Love is just love. It's simple. It's kind. Love is just love. Love. Okay, let me try and explain this. Love is like the air you breathe. It just is. It just is. We put conditions and stipulations. And if you do this for me, if you buy me this, if you take me on this trip, then I'm gonna love you. Then that shows that you love me. It just is. And when we just start allowing we can love thousands of people in our lives. Why do we only gotta love 1 man in our life? Love is love is love. And if you're lucky, then you have a great intimate connection and you have sexual sensations, or you just have a love friend that can come over of the opposite sex and you can talk about everything under the sun and drink some wine, and there's never anything else to it. There's so many different types of love. But if you fear the intimate love, you're cheating yourself out of the general love.
Right. Liza wrote, it should be simple. We make it complicated. Absolutely, Liza. And she said, we attach love with items. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, okay. This has been a really great conversation. And again, you know, we love the banter. Like, this is what we can't stress it enough, because we love that you love, like, communicating with us. This is perfect because you add to the conversation. So, and you know, again, we know we got to go, but you know, share these things, because again, you know, we feel that we have something fabulous here and we really want to share it. So get the word out. If you don't have people on Facebook, go to the YouTube page. Everyone should be a subscriber, and go to the YouTube page and then share the YouTube video. The YouTube videos could be shared on LinkedIn, could be shared in emails, you know, especially if you think you know somebody that needs to hear some of these conversations. And the other thing is, go to our Facebook page and go to events so you could see, we just keep loading up our upcoming shows all the way to April. So we want you to like really get into it and see what's out there. And for, let's see, we're going to show our, so for Thursday, Falling in and Out of Love Part 2 with Bridget Williams, and we're going to be talking about moving on. So definitely join us on Thursday for the continued conversation, where we will talk about, you know, things that we lose by staying in a relationship that there's no more love in, and things that we can gain by leaving. So we're going to talk about that piece. And then also a reminder that we have Viva Moms After Dark. We finally got the right date, which is the second Friday of the month. For some reason, we thought it was the first. So it's the second Friday of the month. So we'll be on this Friday from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. There is, and it's also on the events page on Facebook, so that you could click on the blog link to be able to listen to it. Remember, it's just audio, but there's also a phone number if you want to call in and be a guest on the show.
Yes. Call in. I mean, it's fun. It's from 10 to midnight. You know, one of the ones we're going to be talking about is roadblocks, self-imposed roadblocks. So, but it's a general conversation. So come on down. Spend your Friday with the badass Buddha and the gladiator guru, and let's.
3 days in this 1 week. That's the great thing. The second week of the month, it's always 3 days. So can't get enough of us, right? All right. So good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love today's conversation. Thank you, everybody. Marina, Liza, Tiffany, Kim wasn't on today. Iritza, Gwen. I
Good
just
morning to
Michelle.
Good morning to Yvette. Falcon came on. I just want to do some. Eileen King came on. Good morning. Jonathan, we said good morning to. We always like having the guys on. And Iritza came on late. Good morning, Iritza. We're so happy you're here. Jess Rosa came on. Good morning, Jess. If I didn't do a shout out to Jess on there, and Nelly Hernandez. Yes, we had like a lot of great people coming on.
Nelly was on. I didn't see Nelly was on. Nelly is
Tasha was on. Chimbila. Nancy Green was on. Good morning, Nancy. And Maria Garcia. Okay.
Sissy.
Great. So thanks everybody. And we will see you on Thursday for the second part of our conversation. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Goodbye. Have a great day.